Hello, Bells of Studio. I'm Lacey and welcome to your strength training set of the day. As always, before we start class, make sure you hit pause and check the description section to look for key movements we'll be doing and equipment that you'll need to bring to your session today. You will want to have a bench or something like a bench. It has to be pretty sturdy, at least about 6 inches tall, all the way up to maybe 12 like my bench is here. So make sure you have that prepared. You also will just need one kettlebell today, possibly a light one if you want to use that for the warm up, but one kettlebell to complete the kettlebell complex that we have been working on throughout the program that this class is included in. And also, if you're following this class in the program format, this is your final one. So remember to repeat this class twice. All of them happen twice in sets of 3, and you get to move on to the final test after you finish this session 2 times. We're gonna build on that complex a little bit today to the grand finale. So fun stuff ahead of us. Make sure you have your light kettlebell for the warm up. We're gonna start out with some inchworms to down dog. So all that is crawling out to a plank, then pushing ourselves back to a downward facing dog. We're gonna think of our hips shooting back as we do this. So hips will go back. I'll crawl out to my plank, and then I'm just gonna keep my legs straight, sort of walk myself back to a down dog. That was like the worst down dog I've ever done. I'm gonna bend my knees a little bit. You might need to too. So it's just this tiny little switch in range of motion here. It might just be kind of folding yourself out to a plank and not moving your hands. There's no really right or wrong way to do this. I want you just to have a little fun with it. Take your last one here, and we're gonna start with opposite down dog, toe touches next. So give your wrists a little bit of time to kind of shake out, and then find sort of a downward dog with feet about shoulder width apart. You're gonna take left hand to right toe, and then right hand to left toe. So just join me here, sort of push yourself back. Try to keep your chin relaxed and think about keeping your back nice and long. We don't want to be rounding the back too much. So you can definitely bend your knees to get back there. This does not have to be like a straight leg situation. Give me a few more reps here each side. We're gonna aim for about 10 of these each side. You can kind of hold that down dog or move a little more into plank like I was doing there. Again, no right or wrong here. We're just getting the blood flowing. After you finish your next touch, I want you to come down, face down to the floor, and we're gonna take about 20 reps of prone swimmers. So we're gonna think of opposite arm, opposite leg, reaching up just like this. I want you to really stretch your toes long or flex your feet, whatever feels better for you to do this. I feel like I get a little more range of motion with my toes pointed. Push your hips into the ground to start. Let's go ahead and go for it. 3, 2, and 1. So it's opposites lifting. So we're gonna go here about 20 seconds just because we all might be going at different speeds, but I really want you to reach long with your legs and long with your arms. If they don't quite go opposite, again, just move your body a little bit here. Lifting up and down, head is looking to the floor. Give me another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Next up, we have a few goblet hold pull down. So you're gonna want your kettlebell for this one. This is where the lighter kettlebell could come into play if you don't have one that's kind of a moderate weight. You can take this seated on your bench or chair, or you can take this standing, whatever feels better for you. I'm actually gonna sit for this one just to show you that version because standing's pretty easy to imagine. If you're seated, rib cage over pelvis, shoulders over hips. We've got our knees over our ankles, and we're pushing the feet into the floor seated tall. We're gonna push the bell over our head with 2 hands, pull it down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 into the chest. So let's go ahead, pick it up, bring it to the chest. Let's go overhead, pull the elbows down, push your hands into it. 3, 2, 1, push it up again. Here we go, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Elbows are slightly in front of you. Push it up right over the top of the head, and then it moves slightly in front of you, down to the chest. Let's go 2 more. Up, 5, 4, push into it. 3, 2, 1. Last one. Up, 5, 4, 3, 2, to the chest and down. So the next thing, the last thing, we're gonna use our step. And if you don't have a step, you could do a regular lateral lunge. We've practiced this one here, just moving to the side. The weight will be opposite of the moving leg today if you're doing that. So on that stable leg side, lateral step downs, we're just gonna try to do these ones here, stepping on our bench. So you wanna give yourself some room. So I would suggest standing on the bench like I am here with both feet on it, and then one foot is gonna kind of come down to the floor here. So we're just gonna take it down to the ground. If you need to, you can step all the way down and then push yourself, or you're just gonna tap and support yourself there. I don't want your hips shifting too much out, so try to think of your hips going back. Try to hit 5 reps on one side, whether you're at a small bench or a tall bench. If your bench feels too small, like you're not getting a lot out of it, go to those lateral lunges. Let's flip around to the other side. You guys will get the back view here. Nice chance to touch my pull-up bar, right? So both feet start on the bench. Hips will go back here, and I'm gonna lightly touch down and then stand all the way up. Push your foot into your bench. Last one here. Really concentrating on pushing down the inner sole of the foot there. Okay guys, we are finished with that part. You will need to keep that bench out for the next part of the warm-up. We're gonna hopefully add a kettlebell to that situation. We're also gonna practice Turkish Get Ups on the left and right. This can be somewhere that you keep your lighter bell, or in the program I've written in RPE 8 or 9 if you're really working on pushing your endurance and your stability and strength in the get up, but no pressure on these ones today to do that. You can keep them light if you want. So we're gonna go get up, lateral step down, followed by a maximum set of push-ups. Hands can be on the bench or on the floor for those push-ups. You're on a 40 on, 20 off interval to get as many reps as you can in that time. Again, 3 rounds through this. So go ahead, get your weights out and we'll get started. Let's get ready to start our sort of, I call this like the second helping of warm up. It's a little more active. You will need the bench, you will need your light kettlebell. And those of you that want to practice taking your Turkish Get Up a little bit heavier today, in the program it does say 8 or 9 as an RPE. Again, I mentioned you can go lighter. So just pick the thing that feels right for you at the end of your sets. Maybe you do a lighter one today, and then the second time you do this program, you really push it. We're gonna get each side, so just make sure that you stay on the floor, anticipating that second side. And I really want you, no matter where you are, to really own and find every position. Try not to rush through, complete every single position, and give me just a noticeable stop point to show that you hit it. Okay, let's go ahead, lay down, come into the fetal position with your kettlebell. We'll roll in 3, 2, and 1. We're gonna push it up, touch, and then find the roll to the elbow. Remember, we want to stay tight through the body throughout that initial roll. We're trying to line up the joints, really grip hard into the kettlebell as you hold it, and find your stable position to step all the way to the top. When you come back down, make sure that you're paying extra attention to really line yourself up and take this part slow, especially this elbow roll to the ground situation. That's where I see a lot of times people try to combine multiple steps, and that can be a little detrimental to your neck sometimes, or even to catching the bell appropriately. You want to make sure that as you go down, you find that elbow and then use your core to help roll you down. You don't just fall to the bottom. We never want to do that when we have especially a heavy weight in our hand. Okay, 20 seconds here, and we're going to go into our opposite side of the get up. Once we finish this, we're going to take our lateral step down. So the moving leg is the leg that I want you to hold the kettlebell on when we get there. So just make sure you have everything you need. That goes also for lateral lunges if you're doing those instead of doing the bench step downs. So we're gonna touch the hip, push, roll over to the side, hand flat, straight arm. We lift and line ourselves up. This program, we've been getting little bits of the Turkish Get Up in the 3rd class of each series, and part of that is just to give us some rotation. I've talked about before, the Get Up might not be for everyone or everyone's favorite. You do not really need to do these if you are not a big fan of them. I would say this little roll can be really nice for the core and for the shoulders, so you could practice that there. By no means am I saying everyone needs to do it. So if it's something that you see on a program and you absolutely dread it, maybe just try one of the variations. You could try one of the parts of it. You could always do that baby get up and just really make it all focused on your core. Go ahead, come up to your feet. We have about 10 seconds until we hit our lateral step downs. I'm gonna start with my right foot on the bench. You can go with your left foot, whatever feels good for you here. You're just gonna have the bell in the opposite hand. A good way to get into this is to hold it, step up all the way, and then start, woo, like we did in the warm-up. So we'll go ahead in 3, 2, and 1. So I'm just gonna kind of aim the bell over my front big toe as I send my hips back. So I'm trying to really push through the center part of my foot. My knee tracks towards my toes. And this one, I really want to make an effort to keep my chest up a little bit more than hinging my hips. Think of this being slightly squatty versus like a deadlift. It's okay if you hinge. You're just going to feel this more in your hips and your inner thigh if you take it a little more upright with your chest rather rest here in 3, 2, and 1. So I'm gonna face the opposite way. You're gonna get a nice back view of it on the opposite side. And then remember, we're gonna hit our maximum set of push-ups for where you are at in this round. They can be elevated hands or on the floor. If you hit your max before the time is up, you're just gonna rest. Okay, so let's go ahead, bring your belly into your suitcase position. We're gonna step all the way up here. Get yourself situated, and then we'll come down. So I'm looking kind of towards the front of my bench. I know you guys can't see where I'm looking, and I'm trying to think of my hips slightly going down. This hip on the working leg side, slightly moving back and a little bit to the side. I'm going with a light toe tap. You also could step and then push through this foot to step. Some of you might feel that just a little bit more. So just be mindful of trying out a few different things. That doesn't mean one position is right. One might work better for you than another, depending on how you feel today. Also, the weight that you're using. You're here for 3, 2, and 1. I don't want this lateral step to feel like the heaviest thing you've ever done, so I would say probably an RPE 7 to maybe RPE 8 overall for that set. I'll take my first set of push-ups on the bench and talk to you guys a little bit how you can set yourself up for those. For sure, go onto the floor if you're feeling really good there. Clock is on in 3, 2, and 1. So I'm on the bench. I'm thinking of really wide feet. I'm thinking of squeezing my butt, pushing my heels back, making my body tight. I'm gripping the bench and moving my belly button towards the bench, my elbows slightly back at that 45-degree angle that feels nice on my shoulders here. I'm trying not to let myself fall down face to bench and stick my butt out. So my body moves as one full unit. For me, it makes more sense where weight is just distributed if I think of my belly button going to the edge versus my chest to the edge. Because if my chest goes to the edge, I start to feel like I want my butt to go back. And that's not what we want to go for in our push-ups. We don't load them properly and we put a lot up into our neck and our traps. You're here for 3, 2, and 1. Keep that number in your head. Start coming down to the floor to go for Turkish Get Up round 2. I'm gonna take the elbow rolls only this round for my crew that isn't standing up today. If you're lifting a big heavy bell for this set, squeeze that thing tight and do not take your eyes off of it. Let's hit your first side in 3, 2, and 1. So we're gonna roll, push, touch the hip. In this roll, I'm still thinking of pulling my rib cage slightly down, making this straight leg tight and pushing myself over, resisting as I come down, looking at my bell, making sure my knuckles are pointed up to the ceiling at all times. We don't want to be here. We don't want to be bending here. If you only have access to a dumbbell, guess what? You could do this entire set here with the dumbbell. The next set might be a little harder. You actually could do it as well, but this whole sequence we're on here, 3, 2, and rest, is possible with the dumbbell. Yes, even a Turkish Get Up. You don't have to discriminate on the weight in your Get Up. You've probably seen videos of people doing Get Ups holding other people. There's a lot of means that you can do this, but the kettlebell sort of, as you guys know, for shoulder supported things, feels a little more natural with movement to me than having the weight out to the side. Let's go 3, 2, and 1. If you're a beginner or like that beginner intermediate line and you start to fatigue from just holding the bell, it can be really beneficial for you to hold a dumbbell for part of your session. And I mean that because you're still gonna be able to practice your movements, get in a full training session and not have bruises or fatigue here. I would say you're gonna have to keep letting yourself try holding onto the kettlebell, because if you don't hold it, you're never gonna get used to it. But it's something that you can kind of pepper in a dumbbell here and there and then come back to the kettlebell as you need to. We're here for 3, 2, and 1. Very nice. Let's go ahead and come up to our bench for round 2. Maybe I'll give you guys a lateral lunge just so you can see this one. We've done this in other classes in this program. So a lot of our movements you'll notice sort of shift but stay in the same family. We're in the lateral family in this last class today. So if you do not have a bench, you're gonna join me here. We'll go in 3, 2, and 1. So it's opposite of the moving leg and the bell kind of moves towards the instep of the moving leg foot. My hip goes back, I push down. Notice I'm not moving my whole body with me. I'm just slightly moving from my arm a little bit. I'm kind of guiding it. My shoulders move, but my waist is not moving with it. I could kind of hold here and then really push through the whole foot. See if you can ground down on both feet and then really give yourself that push. You don't need a lot of weight for this one. You can really get a good amount of reps here, and with some concentration and slowing it down a little, you're gonna feel that maybe more in your groin and your inner thighs. You're here for 3, 2, and 1. Benches, I want you to step down, gather yourselves, get ready to bring your bell up on the opposite side. And for my lateral lunges, same thing for us here. We're gonna move the bell towards that stepping foot and really try to feel our inner thighs through this step. Okay, here we go. Pick your bells up in 3, 2, and 1. Bench step ups. You guys can start out. Toes are in one line. If you're hitting lateral lunges with me here, use your mat as a guide or slightly take your gaze down. As long as you're not rounding down, you can look down. So I'm not doing this because that sends my hips back. Where your eyes go, you go, but it's really kind of where your head goes, you go in kettlebell training. So if you are turning your whole head down versus eyeballs just going down, that's gonna be a whole different situation on your neck and in your position. So really try to keep chin neutral. And when I say that, it means that if I was just standing looking straight ahead, I'm in a neutral position. I'm not lifted, I'm not looking down with my head. We'll go 3, 2, and 1. So basically, your head should not be moving. Let's hit your max push-ups. Round 2, I'll come down to the floor, support my floor people here. Keep in mind that push-ups on the floor, they're really challenging. They take a long time to learn. You have to be pretty strong to get these well. So don't be discouraged, do what you can, and you maybe could move to the bench if you need to. You've got 3, 2, and 1. So I'm gonna set myself up here. I like elbows at that 45-degree angle because I feel like I have just enough space where I can move well and I'm not really just blitzing my triceps too much. If you move your hands in closer, they're gonna hit the backs of your arms a lot more. They will fatigue you a little bit faster. If you're super wide, you might get up into your shoulders. You're also just gonna hit different parts of your chest. Play around with your hand position, but just make sure thumbs are about in line with your armpit and they move out or in. They're not moving up or down. You're here for 3, 2, and 1. I think that's a really important distinction in a push-up. We don't want to have our hands coming in front of us and crunching. We want to move them this way. Think of it like you're on a pull-up bar. Same type of idea. Okay, friends, we have one more round of this. Last chance to get that big, heavy get up. Last chance to try to blitz your abs a little bit with this kettlebell. Let's get our first rep in 3, 2, and 1. I think I'm gonna try the different leg shift so you can see that position in the get up this round. So we have the choice, once we hinge and get under the bell, of turning our body to step up or turning our leg, which will make me come forward. A lot of times I think people really like that leg switch because it's a little bit easier to maintain control of the shoulder, especially if you have a big bell. I also find, not to call out the gentlemen out there specifically, but men seem to really like that move more. I don't know if it's because the way that our hips are, or maybe just physical differences, whatnot, who knows, but I see that a lot more with men that I work with than, I should say, genetic males and females. So pick the one that you want. Neither of them is right. I switch between them all the time, and I love both. Let's go ahead, hit your opposite side. Clock is on here in 3, 2, and 1. Any of you doing kettlebell certifications that test the Turkish Get Up, they will take both of those positions as correct. I would say, again, just like we teach in Bells Up Studio classes, all that you're gonna need to do is understand the positions and be able to own them. So you complete each one, you know when to breathe, you can hold each one. So I would say if you're practicing for a cert, really, the big thing that you should be doing is just practicing slowing down, finding each position and going through those motions. Even this part, grabbing it with 2 and flipping to the fetal. That one will get you failed if you don't do it fully. Okay, 20 seconds. We have our last set here with the bench, and then the bench gets to go away and we get to have our bit of fun at the end of the program, our kettlebell complex, and we're gonna add an optional split jerk for my advanced people today. I know you guys are super excited about that one. So let's go ahead and hit your first side of your step down. 3, 2, and 1. So I'm gonna go all the way up. I will take that little tap of my toe, trying to send my hips back, trying to aim my kettlebell towards that front foot, try to almost bend down like I would be in a squat and push the inner part of my foot down. My knee, ideally, is gonna track towards my big toe and that center toe here. Try to control your hips. If you have kind of a squishy bench, like I do, it can make it a little precarious, but I still want you to dig down there into that bed of your foot. If you feel compromised or unsafe, come down to the ground, take those lateral lunges. You have 3, 2, and rest. One more set of these. Go ahead and find your bell, find your setup here. So much fun. I love a good curtsy on a bench too, but today we have these lateral steps. Okay, roll the shoulders back. Let's pick up your bell if you're stepping up. Get ready if you're lunging. 3, 2, and 1. Strong 40-second set here. Again, a full step down with control. A push for that foot to come up is okay. This one is sort of your transition to being able to control the speed and really put all the weight in one leg. That's all we're doing here is with that lighter touch, you're not able to use the opposite leg as much. So it's kind of like when we practice our staggered deadlift. The opposite leg there is there for support. This is the same way. If you step down fully, you're getting a little more support. You're getting a little more relaxed time for the work that you're doing versus if you're not really letting that muscle fully relax by stepping down lightly. You're here for 3, 2, and 1. Final set of push-ups. Take them on the bench, take them on the floor, take them wide, take them narrow. Try to match your highest rep set. If your rep sets were different, all good, because it's a max per round. So each round might look different, but maybe have that number that you did the first time in your head as you complete this third set. Here we go. 3, 2, and 1. Keep moving here. 4. You have about 10 seconds left, so that's enough time to maybe hit 5 strong push-ups. If you need to rest, you also could hold a plank if you just want that little extra juice squeeze out of the orange. You've got 3, 2, and 1. Guys, we made it through the bulk of our class. We just have 15 minutes left, and we're gonna hit that complex that we did in our last set of classes with the addition of an optional split jerk, also with the addition of 5 more rounds. So this is a single bell set. We're gonna go each side per round with the option of that split jerk. You'll see what I mean when we get there. We're gonna take the first set together. We'll do like a practice set, and then we'll go for our 15 minutes of our kettlebell complex with power and all of our single side work. A reminder for our set, this is what it looks like. For each round, we're aiming for maybe 15 seconds per side or 20 seconds per side, depending on how many movements you're gonna do. So we're gonna start in our hang clean position. We go hang clean, squat to press, pull the bell down, dip, drive into your push press, drop for your swing clean, push press. From here, you have that optional jerk, and then we have an optional dip, land in that lunge position, step up for your split jerk. From there, we would come down past our side and go into the opposite side. So you're not gonna get a ton of rest in this set. I want you to try taking either the jerk that we did last time or the split jerk. So pick one of those. You're not gonna get enough rest, I think, if you do both of them. You could try both of them a couple rounds, but I want you to manage yourself because you only have a minute to complete the full set each side. So make sure that you're picking a weight that feels manageable for you to do. We're gonna try to go for a complete 15 minutes in this set. So maybe practice your split jerk if you're taking that option. Remember, if you've never done one of those before, I want you to start perfecting your jerk before we get into the split jerk. And we'll do those more in future programs. You're just going to think dip, and then instead of driving and dipping under, it's a drive, dip, and land in that lunge. Push your foot into the floor on both sides just like you would a pogo hop. You want to land with some rebound there. Okay, 20 seconds, we're going to start it out. So we'll go hang clean, squat to press, push press, swing clean, push press, jerk or split jerk. Try doing one or the other first before you decide if you want to do one and the other. So I don't know if that was clear, but try just picking one is what I'm trying to say. Here we go. 3, 2, and 1. So we hang, we squat, press, pull it down, bend, push, press, pull it down, swing. Remember we did this once before. Land here, jerk, or you could take the split jerk. We come down, do it again, hang, squat to press, push, press, swing clean, push, press, take your jerk, pull it down, and land. Split jerk, when you come back, you're just gonna step up and then transfer your weight again. So right here, we have just about 30 seconds. That is round 1 of 15. We're gonna hit round 2 after this set. I'll try doing that split jerk for you guys in this one so you can see it in real time. Roll your shoulders back just a little bit. Those of you that feel comfortable with this and you're moving fast, you will have time to do both. But again, pick one if you need that extra rest time. Here we go, 3, 2, and 1. So we're gonna go hang, squat, press, pull down, push, press, drop into that swing clean, push, press, come down, dip, drive, catch, stand up, pull it down. We go into the hang clean, squat, press, push, press, swing clean, push, press, split jerk, dip. I just did my opposite leg. I should clarify that to you guys. You can, when you come up, jump back with the opposite leg of the bell, or you can do the same leg. It doesn't really matter. I prefer landing with the stable side leg under the bell. So the front leg. So hopping back with your opposite. If you actually do what I just did there and do the opposite of that, it's totally fine. Go with what feels natural to you at first. Okay, let's hit round 3. Let's try to make this feel a little like a metronome. Each one in its own time. 3, 2, and 1. Hang, squat, press, pull it down, push, press, swing clean, push, press, jerk or split jerk. You can mix them up if you so choose. Hang, squat, press, pull it down, push, press, swing clean, push, press, jerk, or split jerk, as you guys got. Okay, next round. I'm gonna give you guys some cues to go through your jerk. You have round 4 coming up. Round 4 coming up. So once we complete 4 and 5, you are a third of the way there. Look at that. Breathe in, shake your shoulders out a little bit. This class is gonna get your heart rate up for sure, especially if your weight's a little bit heavy. Okay, breathe in through the nose, breathe out through the mouth. Let's go ahead, get ready to take your first side in 3, 2, and 1. So we hang, squat, press, bend, push, press. Heels can come up, swing clean, push, press. When you set up for the jerk, we're gonna dip, drive our hips, get under the bell. So I'm thinking of my knees kind of going forward. So I dip, bending my knees forward, my shoulders stay over my hips, and then I drive my hips but drop right under the bell. So a little different than how the push press feels. That's why I've combined them in this set. Everyone should be resting close to now for sure. Let's hit our 5th round here. I'll take that split jerk as the example on this side and see if I can get my left side to do what I want it to do, brain versus bod, because sometimes this is the weird leg side. We all have one of those, trust me. So we're in it together. Okay, let's go ahead, get ready for round 5, completing round 5 here. Clock is on 3, 2, and 1. So we hang, squat, press, bend, push, press. We bring the bell through for the swing clean, push, press. Make sure if you're jerking, you have kind of narrow feet here. So I dip, and I drop under. Goal is that your back knee does not touch the floor. It might a little bit like I did there. You might again need to move your foot a little bit in if you were super wide, just so you don't have to move that foot in as you bounce back. Remember, I've been doing one side these past 2 rounds just basically so I can talk to you and slow down and cue a little bit. You're doing both sides. You should be finishing up with your second side of the 5th round. We're just gonna repeat that whole situation we just did 2 more times. Look at that. But let's just think of it like 1 more time. So we're gonna start again with a fresh mindset, like it's round 1, even though we're starting round 6. So let's go ahead, go for it. Clock is on here in 3, 2, and 1. Hang, squat, press, push press, swing clean, push press, jerk or split jerk. Bring it down, hang, switch hands, squat to press, push press, swing clean, push press, jerk or split jerk. My left side is so much weaker than my right in that split jerk. 1, because I don't do that movement all the time. This is one where you've got to practice it. 2, just notice where your hips want to go. My left hip wants to kind of collapse a little more than land fully here. Could be a little with my feet. Start paying attention to these things for yourself. Very nice. We're going to hit round 7 of 15 coming up. Let's go for it. So bring your bell close. Let's do it again. Clock is on here in 3, 2, and 1. So we're gonna go clean. Also, I have to be really honest with you guys. There's a tile in my floor. It's honestly right under my left foot right now. That is a little bit broken. So I think part of the reason is I keep stepping on that and feeling like the ground is moving under me. So, you know, maybe it's not my left hip, maybe it's my floor. Pay attention to your environment as you're doing this stuff. Round 7 should be finishing up here. Again, keep doing the jerk if you're practicing it. It was one of, I think when I learned it, I never did them until I did the Strong First SFG2 certification, which is like a higher level certification. Mostly trainers do it. You get into things like windmills, bent pressing, jerks. I'd never really done jerks with kettlebells, and I was so intimidated to learn them. And then once I did, I actually liked them more than push presses. Let's go ahead and hit round 8. Clock is on here. 3, 2, and 1. So we stand, hang, squat, press, bend, push press. The reason you have a push press and a jerk in the same sequence here is so we can start to feel the difference between the two movements. The vertical force to lift the bell in the push press versus the drop of the hips in the jerk. They're very different, but sometimes they look the same. And if to the untrained eye or someone that doesn't really know what a push press or a jerk is, they might actually see them as the same, but your hip position and your motions are different. I think the jerk takes a little less work, but it takes a lot of strength because you kind of have to catch that kettlebell. Okay, so we're gonna go for round 9. So just think of it 9 and 10, and then we just have to go 1 through 5 again. So 9, 10, and then 1 through 5. Here we go, clock is on. 3, 2, and 1 for round 9. Remember, swing clean sandwich right in the middle of those push presses. Think of making noise when you land in your split jerk. You want to actually make contact with that floor. Tell that floor that you're sticking to it. You want to push down into it. I'm going to try it again on my left without my foot in the weird spot, because now I feel like I have to prove it to myself that the weird spot does not really exist, so we shall see. So round 10, coming for my left hip in that split jerk. Okay, this is also a good one. Like if you guys don't understand it or you want more drills for it, let me know in the comments of the video. Ask questions in the comments. I have you guys always answer weird questions like what pants should I buy, but also you guys can ask me form questions in there, because I can either do videos of it for the app, I could do question and answer in the comments, or on social media. Let's get your other side. Round 10, 3, 2, and 1. And by other side, I mean both sides. I'm doing the other side because these past 2, I've just done the one. Remember, we don't want to hit our legs in that swing clean. That was that one pro tip there. Okay, so that did feel a little better when I wasn't on the weird part, but I did notice, guys, my foot wants to turn to the outside, and that prevents me from pushing down. So that is a little bit of internal rotation work that I need to do for my hip. Okay, so round 11 is coming up in 20 seconds. Round 11 in 20 seconds. So 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That means you have 5 minutes left and you've done a little bit more than you did the past 2 times you did this complex. So wherever you're at, even if you're not jerking and you're practicing your push presses, you should feel really proud of yourself for adding this extra set of rounds here. Okay, here we go. Clock is on 3, 2, and 1. Round 11. Push press, for me, swing clean. Push press, I'm gonna take the regular jerk this round, pull it down, switch, squat, press, push press. Can you not let that bell take you for a ride, even though you're moving fast? Still, I wanna feel like I'm completing each and every movement. So I'm not like this, moving around. It's kind of like what we talked about in the Get Up earlier. If I turn on a metronome, those of you that went to music school or studied music like I did when I was a younger person, a kid, an adolescent, metronomes were either, they're kind of your gospel and your enemy at the same time. I kind of want you to feel like you're doing that when you're completing these moves. You're sticking each one and hearing that little beat in your head. Okay, let's go ahead and hit round 12. Round 12, here we go. 3, 2, and 1. And jerk. Whenever I get to the jerk, my brain kind of does a short circuit, I'm not gonna lie, and I'm like, where was I? What did I just do? What is next? So if that's you too, know that your instructor is right there. Even though we've done this complex millions of times, you should be finishing up that second side, getting ready to rest. You're probably a pro now at this switch. True kettlebell complex pro after you finish this. I'm like a fan of complexes like this for cardio because they're fairly like low. I don't want to say like they're really difficult. So we're going to come up on 13 in about 10 seconds. But when you have movements that you're getting to use a lot of lower body, not just your upper body for all of them, they're a great sustainable way to do cardio with a kettlebell. 3, 2, and 1. So they're not sort of pulling you around too much. You're moving pretty fast. You're getting pretty weightless in a lot of this stuff. And you're not really having, even though we're going overhead a lot, to use too much of your overhead strength. So that's why we can do these longer sets. I have a nice glisten right now. I feel like my weight selection for a 12 kilo for this is actually pretty spot on for what I do. I might do a 14, but the big thing with it is you really want to feel like you can move with the weight, stick those landings, get your heart rate up, but again, you're not doing the CrossFit fall of death on the floor where you need to lay down for 5 minutes after your session. You should actually feel weirdly better when you leave here than when you started. Okay, so I might have just lost count because I'm a crazy person. So I think 11, 12, 13, I think we just have 14 and 15 left, right? 14 and 15 left. If I missed one, I know I said this like last class, then you can do an extra. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, and 1. We're gonna go up. That's what happens when I talk too much and tell stories. I forget rounds here. Maybe I'll just throw in an extra one just because in the sets here. Okay, keep breathing as you do this. I mean, we'll call the next one your last round, and I'm sure you guys will annihilate me in the comments, but I'm actually thinking too, I think I'm gonna do a bonus round, a bonus one more, just to make up for the fact that I might have completely fucked it up. Sorry for the language, parental advisory for this class if your kids are in the room. So, you know, we'll just try that out. We'll say the next round is 15, and then we'll do a 16 as a lightning round, as a bonus round, as you are a badass round because you're sticking with me through this craziness. Okay, let's go ahead, get your faux last round right now in 3, 2, and 1. Hang, squat, push, push, press, find your core, get that clean booty back, drop into your jerk. One more bonus round coming up. I'm probably gonna do both sides with you for the bonus round, just because if I'm gonna make you do extra shit, which might not be extra shit, but it probably is extra shit, I'm gonna be right there with you, huffing and puffing, because we don't have anywhere to go but out to our own lives after this set after this next set. With all luck, my doorbell will ring, my dogs will bark, something will fall from the sky in this very round because it's the extra, but we're just gonna go with whatever happens. There's no light set up. For those of you that have seen the lights fall over on me before in a wind gust, you know, I love to leave a good blooper in, but let's finish this shit out right now together. Each side, jerk, split jerk, no jerk. We're in it together, guys. Here we go. 3, 2, and 1. So I'm gonna hit hang, squat, press, bring it down, push, press, big old swing clean, ass back, pull it in, push it up. We're gonna hit, for me, that split jerk just because, oh yes, I'm doing it. Let's hit the hang, squat, push. I'm standing on the weird thing. So maybe this side, I'm gonna do the jerk, or I'm gonna move back. Find your last thing. 3, 2, and 1. Kept my whole foot down that last time. That's why you do a bonus sometimes. Okay, my friends, bell goes off to the side. Let's use our bench because it's here, and just take a little break for our shoulders and upper body, because they did get worked. Even though I said they didn't get primarily worked, they got worked. If you don't have a bench, you're gonna take a child's pose. So come into a prayer position with your hands, put them together. Let your head fall through. You can arch your back a little, but try to keep just a little turn in your tailbone, but let your chest drop, and you can just kind of move side to side here. Whew, if not, you're on the floor like this. You can even turn your hands up like this to let your shoulders relax just a little bit more. I want you to take a big breath in through your nose, and then exhale hard and long through your mouth. That sounded slightly terrible. Let's forget I ever said that. Do it again. So we're gonna breathe in through the nose, breathe out through the mouth, in through the nose. Let your head go out through the mouth, and give yourself a pat on the back because not only did you do a bonus round, but you get to do this class 2 times if you're following the program. But you're gonna feel so good in this complex when you actually test it. So congratulations if you are on the cusp of finishing this program, if you've just done it, or if you just made it through that complex because you randomly landed in this class. I will see you in your next program or in another class on Bells Up Studio. Remember, get real, get strong, bells up. Bye.